Donald Trump's chaotic inner circle just got hit with another scandal, and this one could blow up in his face. South Dakota's Kristi Noem, once floated as Trump's next vice president, is now at the center of a full-blown legal firestorm after a top official in her Department of Homeland Security publicly broke federal law. This story isn't just about one rogue staffer. It's about how lawlessness has become a job requirement in Trump's Republican Party. Before we get to the shocking illegal act that's making headlines today, let's remember why Americans are pushing back harder than ever. Millions who rallied for democracy during the No Kings protests were smeared as terrorists by Trump's loyalists, and that lie came straight from the top.
Okay, wait. Time out.
Wait, sorry.
We've said no one's challenging their right to protest, and yet, what I heard from Republican leaders this week is that the protesters were terrorists. I heard them constantly, from the Speaker of the House to U.S. senators to Trump cabinet members, equating the protesters with Antifa. Now, those would be bad words in any other circumstance, because it's First Amendment protected speech, and saying it's terrorism, that's a morally wrong thing to do. But this is worse than that, because just last month, this administration designated Antifa as a domestic terrorist organization.
Do you disagree with that?
They are
Good.
Yes, I do. They are equating protesters with terrorists, and by equating protesters with terrorists, they're creating a chilling effect, and they're opening the aperture to investigate them. I'll tell you why. NSPM 7, National Security Presidential Memorandum 7, that was passed by the White House, issued by the White House last month, says that people who directly or indirectly support those domestic terrorist organizations can be investigated. By that standard, they're saying that protesters and people who organize protests where Antifa might show up could be investigated. And then this week, the administration took control, or made moves to take control, of the criminal division of the IRS. This would be like if George W. Bush had said Code Pink was Al-Qaeda, or people protesting the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan were associated with the Islamic State.
While Trump's people were busy calling peaceful Americans terrorists, the real crimes were happening in their own offices. And it's not just corruption, it's chaos. The economy is suffering, trust is collapsing, and ordinary Americans are paying the price for Republican mismanagement.
Potential warning sign for the economy. A new poll finding Americans are growing increasingly worried about their job prospects amid hiring freezes and higher prices for everything from food to healthcare to housing and utilities. CNN's Matt Egan joining us now. Break this down, what you're seeing in this report.
Yeah, Sarah, well, we're seeing that Americans have lost confidence in this job market and what it means in the event that they need to land a new job, right? This new AP poll shows that just 21% of Americans say they are either extremely or very confident in their ability to find a good job. Just 21%. 30% say they're somewhat confident, but almost half, a plurality, 47% say they're not very or not at all confident that they could find a good job. Now, what's notable is that all of these metrics are actually moving in the wrong direction when you compare it with 2023 under the Biden administration. Also, when you compare it to 2019, just before COVID-19, Americans have a lot less confidence than they did. And this just reflects reality, right? I mean, the job market's a lot weaker than it was a few years ago. Hiring was.
And now, while millions struggle to afford groceries and housing, Trump's top allies are busy breaking the law. Kristi Noem's Department of Homeland Security is under fire after her top public affairs official, Tricia McLaughlin, did something so reckless, so illegal, that legal experts are calling for a federal investigation. McLaughlin, a senior official under Noem, publicly posted the personal information of a 13-year-old child, claiming the boy was a criminal with a gun. But it was all false. The story she shared, amplified by MAGA networks, has since been completely debunked. The real story? That child, a Brazilian-born 7th grader living in Massachusetts, had been detained by ICE and separated from his family. Instead of apologizing, Noem's DHS doubled down, releasing even more private information to justify their mistake. That's not a clerical error. That's a federal crime. Under U.S. privacy laws, releasing any identifying information about a minor is strictly prohibited. And yet, McLaughlin's post remains online. No suspension, no firing, no accountability. Just another day in the Trump-Noem world, where the law is optional and cruelty is the point. This goes beyond one official's stupidity. It exposes how the MAGA movement operates, by weaponizing fear and turning public agencies into tools of political vengeance. Instead of protecting families, they're punishing them. Instead of enforcing the law, they're breaking it to score points on social media. Even conservative legal experts are saying this could lead to an inspector general probe and potential civil liability for DHS itself. But here's the kicker. In any normal administration, the person responsible would be fired immediately. Under Trump and Noem, she's still employed, still tweeting, still smearing a child. So let's be crystal clear. When Republicans talk about law and order, they don't mean justice. They mean control. Kristi Noem's DHS didn't just break the law. They showed us what Trumpism looks like in power. Reckless, heartless, and utterly lawless. If you're tired of watching corruption and cruelty masquerading as leadership, make your voice heard. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications, because together, we're exposing every lie and every abuse that threatens our democracy.